Up first at 11, the JCPS school board has made its pick. The board voted 5-2 tonight to begin contract negotiations with one of the two finalists for superintendent. And thanks for joining us. I'm Connie Leonard. The board will not make an announcement on who it chose until after a contract has been signed. The two finalists were Ben Schuldiner and Dr. Brian Yearwood. Taylor Everett and Linda Duncan were the two board members who voted against that pick. Duncan would only say her vote represented the feedback that she received from constituents. Both candidates were in town this week to meet with the community members. They were asked about state lawmakers' efforts to end DEI initiatives and break up the school district. Both candidates pushed back against those ideas, something Republican Representative Jason Nemeth says is out of their control.
Well, they don't get to decide either one of those questions. Those are questions for the legislature to decide. So if someone's talking about what they won't do going forward and they're not talking about academic achievement and discipline right now, then that's not a serious conversation. I don't have all the right answers. I know the wrong answer, and that's what we're doing.
Nemeth also said teachers who have left the classroom told him they're leaving because of the lack of discipline and support from administrators. He says whoever is chosen to be superintendent should focus on finding solutions for those issues, and they'll have his support. Well, police funding, one of the many issues in front of the Metro Council tonight. The council also heard from the public about the budget. The night team's Clarice Shaley with photojournalist Aspen Hester heard the questions and opinions that were wide-ranging.
Stepping up to plead their case.
3 people can speak on any topic, and 3 people in support, 3 people opposed.
Nonprofits requested money from Louisville's Metro government.
Without an investment from the larger community, this project is not sustainable.
While others,
but not one of them, wanted more police spending.
Have concerns about Louisville Police's budget.
And I urge Metro Council not to remove any money from the budget for Louisville Police.
Fund and support the brave men and women of LMPD.
Metro Council earlier this evening.
Can you tell me what the total number of arrests and citations are to date in FY25?
Questioning LMPD on their proposed budget.
What's up with that money? Is there a way that you all are willing to reallocate that money?
The department has an almost $255 million proposed operating budget. Mayor Craig Greenberg said the money is going to hire more officers and upgrading equipment. Still in the budget is $750,000 for an independent monitor, as the city plans to continue with the agreements of the consent decree, even after it was dropped by the Department of Justice. This change has left $375,000 to be used elsewhere in the department.
Obviously not going to be spent this year if we put out an RFP even today. I don't anticipate any other cost.
Public safety remains an important consideration for Budget Vice Chair Marcus Winkler.
We have a finite pool of money, and that's ultimately, where the Budget Committee and the Council will roll up our sleeves and make a decision on where those funds should go.
Louisvillians have their opinions.
Because $1 billion could not equip the police to do jobs they can't do.
Please let the police do their job. Bottom line, stop funding for this independent monitor.
In downtown Louisville, Clarice Shaley, WHAS11 Night Team, on your side.
Metro Council will continue to talk about changes to the budget until they vote June 26. There's a survey where you can offer your input. You can find that link on our website, WHAS11.com. Reaction continues to pour in after the Department of Justice announced it was moving to dismiss the consent decree made with Louisville Metro Police and the city. Today, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear was asked about the move. Beshear said he's glad that Louisville is pledging to continue with reforms despite the federal government.
I think that a lot of credit should go to the city and to the chief of LMPD because they are doing this voluntarily, putting these things in place because they want everybody in the community to be safe and everybody to feel safe. And they want to make sure that they have a police force that every single community in that city can believe is serving them.
Now, we spoke with several Metro Council members about their opinions. Some Metro Council members are concerned that the reforms won't stick without the federal oversight.
They want accountability. Accountability means from a separate branch of government. A consent decree requires oversight. That oversight belongs in this co-equal branch of government. If it's not going to be in the judicial, if it's not going to be in the courts, then it needs to be in Louisville Metro Council.
The Justice Department argues the agreement should be dropped because the Biden administration relied on faulty legal theories and cherry-picked statistics in order to accuse the departments of widespread misconduct. They also claim consent decrees can increase bureaucracy, making recruiting and retaining officers more difficult. President Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill is now heading to the Senate after passing in the House early this morning. That bill passing by a single vote after Republican hardliners fell in line following a key meeting yesterday with Trump. The bill finally called for a vote after an all-night debate that pitted House leaders against each other.
The GOP tax scam represents an assault on the economy, an assault on health care, an assault on nutritional assistance, an assault on tax fairness, and an assault on fiscal responsibility.
What we're going to do here this morning is truly historic, and it will make all the difference in the daily lives of hardworking Americans. The Dallas waitress pulling overtime, the Detroit mom counting bills late at night, the Kentucky coal miner waiting on his second chance. These are the forgotten men and women of our country that we are all called here to serve. And the One Big Beautiful Bill will deliver for those people.
The bill now goes to the Senate, where there could be more changes led by Republicans. House Speaker Mike Johnson says that he wants to get that bill to the president to sign by July 4th. And Trump's bill includes cuts to Medicaid, SNAP benefits to help pay for tax cuts proposed. Trump is also hoping to slash more from the federal government, including nearly $27 billion from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And those deep cuts would effectively end federal rental aid programs like Section 8. The White House called the current system dysfunctional and has proposed making these programs the state's responsibility. The belief is this would simplify the process, making it more effective. However, the head of Louisville's Metro Housing Authority disagrees.
There are other housing authorities that are planning to take vouchers away from people. We're not there yet. The last thing we need as a country is to start taking vouchers away from people who already have it.
Elizabeth Strojan did say no matter what cuts come, it will have no impact on plans to tear down the Dosker Manor apartments and rebuild. She told us she expects federal approval should be coming any day now to demolish the buildings. Turning farmland into a $6 billion data center, a continued battle for some residents of Oldm County who don't want it. Residents packed a meeting voicing their displeasure with the proposal.
You can boo me all you want.
Now, the 267-acre project would fuel technology like AI and the internet. It backs up to Kentucky 53 in a rural area of northern LaGrange. Consultant Derek Triplett contends that the project would be located over 800 feet from the nearest property and that they are preserving green space. The developer, Western Hospitality, applied as a private utility. Residents say that's a loophole to get around zoning regulations. It's currently zoned to be agricultural land.
We consider these proceedings to be absurd relative to the scope and magnitude of this project. This project is for a $6 billion improvement on a piece of farmland, heavy industrial development.
No decision has been made. Ultimately, it's the Oldham County Board of Adjustments that will decide if the data center moves forward. A meeting is expected sometime next month. A man is behind bars after causing a multi-vehicle crash by entering I-64 the wrong way. Officials say Jacob Collins Collette was driving the car that caused that crash. He was reportedly under the influence. It happened just after 10 last night. Court documents say Collette entered the expressway from Grinstead Drive, where he hit several cars before finally crashing near Melwood Avenue. After the wreck, Collette took off on foot but didn't get far. The other drivers involved were checked out by EMS, and one was sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Tonight, we are updating you on the breaking news we first brought you on the night team last night. 2 Israeli embassy staffers shot and killed outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. Police saying the suspect allegedly stalked the victims before shooting them at close range. And all new, we're learning more about the suspect's possible motive and what he told witnesses after the shooting. ABC's Zoreen Shaw with the story.
Tonight, the suspect arraigned in court, now charged with murder after allegedly gunning down 2 young Israeli staffers stationed at a Washington embassy.
responsible for an active shooter, 3rd Street.
They said they got 2 patients at 2nd and Mass.
Yaron Lischinski and Sarah Milgram had been attending a Jewish heritage event Wednesday night, a celebration of culture that ended in tragedy. The couple, just days from getting engaged, gunned down across the street from the FBI's Washington field office. Authorities say the shooter was fixated on the Israel-Hamas war. Surveillance video, now part of the investigation, reportedly shows the gunman shooting the couple from behind, continuing to fire even after they collapsed, reloading and firing again, investigators say, as one of them tried to crawl away. Moments later, witnesses say the suspect allegedly tried to blend in with other victims, slipping into the museum.
I was worried for him, thinking, he might have experienced something.
I was trying to comfort him, and my friend offers him some water. He reaches into his backpack and pulls out a keffiyeh and says, I did it. I did this for Gaza, free Palestine.
The man now in custody, identified as 31-year-old Elias Rodriguez, taken down by police and museum security within minutes. Friends remembering Sarah. Hundreds gathering this evening at a vigil in D.C. Rodriguez faces a list of federal charges, including the murder of foreign officials. Prosecutors say they are pursuing hate crime and terrorism enhancements, and Jewish institutions in D.C., New York, and nationwide are stepping up security. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
And today, the FBI raided the home of Elias Rodriguez in Chicago. A federal criminal complaint says the suspect purchased the firearm in 2020 and flew with the gun in his checked bag from Chicago to Virginia just 2 days ago. FBI with D.C. police are now working to determine if Rodriguez had any assistance or ties to terrorist organizations.